He's a pure savage.
Yeah, he don't care about
He's a
nothing.
pure savage.
Yeah.
And that's also why he was so good at fighting, man. In the middle of the Jose Aldo fight, I remember looking in his eyes and watching how calm, like genuinely calm he was. I'm like, this guy just, and Dana said it best. He's like, he eats pressure. He just eats it. He likes it. He wants it to be chaos. It's got guys say that, but they don't really.
Right.
It is interesting that in the time where that low calf kick is coming to prominence, and you know, this is also the time when Conor started moving away from the sport, took time off, fought boxing, you know, then came back and had the fight with Khabib, and then came back and had the fight with Cowboy. The calf kick was never in play in any of his fights. But if you look at him stylistically, and this is one of the things, I love DC's detail that he does on ESPN. It's amazing. But when he broke down Conor's heavy weight on the right leg, he leans in like this all the time. It's such a big weapon.
And sometimes he, like you said, that wide stance as well. It's just hard to check the kick from that wide stance. You know.
Well, it's a crazy stance for everything other than calf kicks. It's a great stance. I mean, he's so good at moving in and covering distance with that stance.
As of right here, right now, Gaethje McGregor is still on the table. And I think that should be pulled. I do not believe that Conor should walk into a title fight, but moreover, I will tell you, and Conor will too, he's not going to 155. Now, the promotion does not yet have that through their head. They are still pushing for Conor and 155. This is all extremely accurate information. So, I think there's a lot of options for McGregor. I really think that if it's not him versus Chandler, it should be. We really should look at that. We fans were promised a certain fight. We fans have been pretty damn patient.
As the White House card approaches, Conor McGregor's name keeps echoing across the MMA world. Fighters are throwing out challenges. Contenders are sizing each other up, and analysts can't seem to agree on what this landmark night will bring. One certainty remains: if the spotlight hits, McGregor will be right at the center of the storm. Everything else, just a swirl of chances, guesses, and mayhem ready to ignite.
You fight with who? If you're gonna fight with Cowboy Cerrone, you're gonna look good. You're gonna be like lion. But if you're gonna fight like guys who on the top, who really best in the world, like Dustin Poirier, like this fight gonna show your level. You know, okay, fight with Cowboy or like these fights, be lion and that's it, make money. This is smart. But if you wanna become champion, if you wanna fight like Beneil, Islam, Charles, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, these guys lions, you know? These guys gonna show your level.
One fighter keeps pulling the spotlight toward him, even as the details stay murky. Mauricio Ruffy refused to shy away from the White House card, even with Conor McGregor's looming presence when asked about what's next. Ruffy didn't avoid the whirlwind surrounding McGregor, he stepped right into it. Rumors suggest McGregor wants a fighter who brings chaos and excitement, not caution. To the Octagon, Ruffy positioned himself perfectly for that role. Showing readiness without throwing out demands, he made it clear he's willing to seize the spotlight and let the UFC decide if he's the kind of opponent McGregor wants. For a show-stopping clash.
O que é o próximo? O que é o que vem agora pra você? Eu pedi Paddy Pimblett na Casa Branca, talvez Conor McGregor tá querendo lutar também. Eu vi na internet rumores que ele acha melhor lutar contra mim, que sou um bom striker e que vai dar show pra galera, do que contra o Michael Chandler, que vem só de derrotas. E eu tô aqui, eu sou trabalhador do UFC, o que o UFC colocar, eu tô pronto.
Yeah, I work for UFC, but of course I want to fight on White House, maybe with Paddy Pimblett or maybe Conor. I saw something about Conor saying that it's good to fight with me than Michael Chandler. So yeah, but I'm a UFC, so whatever the guys want.
And it's not just up-and-comers brimming with confidence. Even established champions pause to calculate when Conor McGregor's name comes up. Ilia Topuria was blunt about it. Turning down a fight with McGregor doesn't make sense. The challenge isn't about skill, it's about the magnitude. Facing Conor means stepping into history, grabbing the global spotlight, and opening doors that can redefine a career. Topuria made it clear, if that call arrives, he's ready to answer.
About Conor is like still, even though he might not be the best fighter in the world right now, he's the golden goose.
Of course he is.
Yeah,
that's something
crazy.
that you can't take
kind of amazing, you know. But
Joe Rogan makes McGregor's influence crystal Clear. Even in his current phase, Conor's star power hasn't faded. While he's no longer the sole top-ranked fighter, his presence still commands unmatched attention. McGregor consistently draws massive audiences, guaranteeing millions of eyes on any event he touches, in an era where fame is fleeting and stars rise and fall overnight. His magnetic pull is rare and exactly why his name keeps dominating conversations about the White House card.
The eyeballs will go to see him, you know? It just...
That would be a great one. But what excites me more is the fight with Patty.
Really?
Yeah, that fight excites me even more. And if they could put that fight in...
Rogan also highlighted that McGregor's impact goes far beyond his record in the cage. Alongside Chael Sonnen, he painted Conor as one of the rare fighters who fundamentally reshaped the sports business. His method wasn't just about fighting, it was about creating spectacle, owning a personality, and making bold statements, loud enough that no one could ignore him. That spotlight became power, and that power became profit. Love it or hate it, Rogan's message was clear. For McGregor, the trash talk isn't just talk, it's a calculated strategy, and he mastered it like no one else.
There's a couple guys kind of changed the game. One of them was Chael Sonnen, and another one is Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And part of the way they changed the game was talking mad shit and getting a lot of people to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
And
Which, cool, you know? Like, it got them a lot of attention. It got them a lot of money. But, like, and if that's what makes them happy, cool. You know? Like,
I think some people think it's a good business.
Not everyone is convinced by the comeback storyline. Khabib didn't mince words about McGregor's return. He pointed out that the wear and tear on Conor particularly, the damage to his legs isn't something you can fully bounce back from. Add in a few years where the fire may have dimmed, and Khabib's verdict is clear: peak performance only. Hits once. After that, no comeback can recreate it. Once you've reached the top, the decline is unavoidable.
When you take like this damage, you're never gonna be same. Never, ever. Okay, if we talk about Conor, okay, like last couple years he's not hungry, and now what happened with his legs? Like, never ever, never people come back, and never gonna be people on the same prime twice. Prime come only one time. You're gonna be on prime.
Khabib connected his argument directly to the White House card, framing it as more than just entertainment. Facing someone like Cowboy Cerrone might let McGregor shine and draw a crowd. But the bigger question is whether he can still compete with the elite fighters like Dustin Poirier, Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira, or Justin Gaethje. To Khabib, the White House card isn't merely about fame or money. It's the ultimate measure of whether McGregor's peak has passed, or if he can still perform at the highest level. In his view, this fight will show whether Conor remains a true contender or just a name that headlines the card.
It depends you fight with who. If you're gonna fight with Cowboy Cerrone, you're gonna look good. You're gonna be like lion. But if you're gonna fight like guys who on the top, who really best in the world, like Dustin Poirier, like this fight gonna show your level. You know, okay, fight with Cowboy or like these fights, be lion and that's it, make money. This is smart. But if you wanna become champion, if you wanna fight like Beneil, Islam, Charles, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, these guys lions, you know? These guys gonna show.
While Khabib doubts whether McGregor still carries the hunger to compete at the top, Conor is adamant not only does he have it, it's fiercer than ever in the lead up to the White House card. He framed his comeback as more than a fight, it's a deeply personal mission. Driven by faith and self-reflection, the drive that once fueled him, he says, hasn't just returned, it's been reignited stronger than ever. After stepping back to reassess and refocus, McGregor insists he's sharper, more determined, and ready to prove he still belongs on the sport's grandest stages. For him, the White House card isn't merely a matchup, it's the proving ground for this new, unstoppable version of himself.
That dictates my journey and all of our journeys. And I live my life by God's word. And since around that time that you mentioned at the last event, I've engaged on a spiritual journey. And I'm saved, I am healed. And, you know, on the back of that, the world is in for a treat. The world is in for a treat. My competitive spark that was once in my heart is now a roaring blaze. So I'm very excited. You know, I envy these men up here on this dais. They're right about to make weight, and they're to go in and enjoy and entertain and do what they were called to do, as am I called to do it. And you know, I'm eager to get back. And right now I had to dial myself in and go inward, and that I done. And I'm very...
Building on McGregor's vow of a sharper, more focus come back. Sonnen offered insight into who he could face at the White House card. He suggested that a clash with Justin Gaethje could be almost serendipitous, a matchup that works both for the spectacle and the fighter's career trajectories. But Sonnen also warned that nothing is set in stone once the cage door shuts. Even if the bout is agreed upon, the outcome will tell its own story. And the ultimate test will be whether this rejuvenated, relentless McGregor can live up to all the buzz surrounding him.
The White House and a special treat in Conor McGregor, which is almost a gift, right? Bread Panty Night is real. That's a gift for somebody. We'll gift this to Justin Gaethje on his way out the door, and he won't mind fighting in a different weight class because he's leaving anyway. He's not coming up the ranks. This is all part of the thought process as to why it's going to be Conor versus Justin Gaethje, but that is also believed that Justin Gaethje was going to lose. Now, you can't say that. When you go in and you start talking about these deals, there's never say, hey, you're going to lose to Patty. So when you lose to Patty, we're going to bump you up a weight class that won't matter as you're on your way out anyway. Like, you can't say those things. So when he goes in and gets the win, it's very hard to unwind that and go, okay, it's no longer McGregor and Gaethje. They're both going to go. Why? Right? Imagine McGregor. Imagine McGregor that already said yes to Gaethje. He's saying the same thing.
Sonnen then unpacked just how tricky it gets if McGregor jumps straight into a title fight. Moving him down to 155 pounds, he explained, complicates the meaning of a belt and can create all sorts of chaos as a smarter alternative. He suggested a matchup against the loser of Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, a fight that could still draw massive attention. It's a high-stakes clash with serious appeal. But Sonnen stressed that the White House card isn't just about hype, it's about finding a matchup that makes sense both in the cage and for the narrative. Michael Bisping added his perspective on potential White House showdowns, weighing both star power and storyline. He highlighted Jorge Masvidal as a thrilling opponent for McGregor, noting Masvidal's past involvement with Trump rallies and his ties to the political spotlight. Bisping contrasted that with Michael Chandler, whose recent setbacks and natural weight class make him a less enticing option. Masvidal, however, brings a resumed build for spectacle, from the fastest knockout in UFC history to becoming the first BMF champion, making him a fighter capable of delivering both legitimacy and showmanship on a stage as extraordinary as the White House.
On the internet, you versus McGregor.
You never know, right? Shit, give them what they want, not what they expect. I could say some big news, and I can't deny or confirm what you just said.
Even Chael Sonnen was talking about it. And as I said, when you look at Jorge Masvidal and the career that he's had, and then you remember Jorge Masvidal has been a massive supporter of Donald Trump. I think he's spoken publicly at rallies for Donald Trump as well. So he's certainly in the good graces of the Trump family, right? And they're the kind of people that they're going to want at the White House. Conor McGregor versus Jorge Masvidal. That'll be a sensational matchup. Michael Chandler, of course, losing to Paddy Pimblett the way that he did. And then, of course, when you look at the majority of fights that he's lost, okay, it doesn't really put him in too good of a standing, okay? And, of course, he's 155. Yeah, he'd come up to 170 to fight McGregor, but he's not a natural 170. And Jorge Masvidal has fought at 155, but also finished his career at 170. He did fight for the belt. He did have the fastest knockout in history. He absolutely destroyed Nate Diaz when he became the first BMF. I mean, if you go...
Additionally, Jon Anik offered a fresh take on the White House card. While he acknowledged the thrill of seeing Conor McGregor return, he raised doubts about some of the rumored matchups. A bout with Michael Chandler, he argued, might grab attention and feel patriotic, but it lacks real significance in the lightweight division and could even take place at a catchweight. For Anik, the truly compelling matchups are ones that challenge McGregor's abilities and carry real consequence, says fighters like Nate Diaz or Mauricio Ruffi, where the stakes inside the octagon would be genuine and electrifying.
Generation of fighters are going to know you for the way you commentate, the way you call plays, the way you are so analytical about fighters. you're amazing at what you do at bringing the whole story to life. And I think it's like one piece of the puzzle that has to be there. Like, we need John Anik, you know, and we've seen you do some other things with the Canelo fight, which was amazing, by the way, which I want to talk about. How much of this chemistry is built off the camera versus on the camera?
Building on Anik's point about high-stakes matchups, Michael Chandler stepped into the spotlight with a bold call-out. He's aiming for Conor McGregor, and he wants it on the White House stage. Chandler cited McGregor's social media posts, interviews, and highlight reels as evidence that the interest is mutual. While he admitted MMA is always unpredictable, and nothing is guaranteed, he stressed that both fighters are on the same page and discussions are moving forward. In the meantime, Chandler is fully locked in on training, prepared to make the fight happen the moment the UFC gives the nod.
Secret, obviously, I want to fight Conor, and I think it's no secret by the things that he's posting, the interviews that he's doing, the number of times he said my name, posted a video of me and him and our highlights and all that kind of stuff a week or so ago. He wants to fight me. I want to fight him. He wants to fight at the White House. I want nothing more than to be wearing the red, white, and blue stars and bars, walking onto the White House lawn and fighting at the White House. You know how hard it is to put percentages on anything in mixed martial arts. It's such a crazy sport, and that's why we love it. But one thing is for sure, Conor wants to fight me at the White House. I want to fight him at the White House. And conversations are being had. I think things are moving in that direction, but we're never going to know when this thing's going to be announced. So we will see. All I know is I'm going to start training here very soon, like laser focused on June, whatever it is. And they're going to keep holding the cards close to their chest, as they always do, trying to keep things a secret.
Now it's your turn. Who do you think is the perfect opponent for Conor McGregor at the White House card? Michael Chandler, Jorge Masvidal, Mauricio Ruffi, or maybe someone completely unexpected? Share your thoughts in the comments and jump into the discussion. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date with all our fight breakdowns, insider insights, and the latest updates as this historic event unfolds.